check. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. January 6th, which is a day that will live in infamy. Infamy. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for being patient while I showed up late today. I was eating the standard lib cuck meal of avocado toast this morning, and I bit into the piece of avocado toast, and a flake of pepper flew into my eye. And that's how my morning started. By the way, somebody said, who was that? Somebody said, I saw baby blue hat. Who said that in the chat? Is somebody stalking me? That was weird. Somebody's like, oh, I already saw. He's wearing a baby blue hat. Did you see that, Jim?
I didn't see that.
All right.
So, no, so we've moved on to stalkers instead of catfish.
I guess. What's worse? I don't know which one's worse.
The
catfish kept me up late at night. There's a lot of 2 a.m. phone calls. Stalkers just usually watch you at night. I don't think they usually wake you up, right?
Yeah, they don't typically interrupt your sleep. I mean, stalkers could. That's not true.
I think the answer is stalker in my case then, because at least I can still get my 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think your catfish may have moved on. I've heard some rumblings of a marriage and stuff, so I don't know, but who knows?
Oh, no. Is it her brother?
Probably. Probably. Is he?
She texts me from I've since changed my number. I had to change my number, but when I still had my old number, I got, or was it a text or was it a TikTok message? You might have seen, if you saw it.
I haven't seen a TikTok message, but that I remember.
Do you remember the message that was like, I just want you to know that I've moved on. I'm engaged.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to go to your 85th number that wasn't blocked in order to tell me that you were engaged.
That was insane. That was so insane.
She's awesome. She's so good.
Yeah. She's been hopping around from place to place. So, yeah.
Did you go in and change the donation goal before we started?
No.
You didn't?
I did not.
How the hell did that happen? I didn't change it.
I don't know.
Send her an engagement gift. I will. I'll send her an engagement gift. That's a good idea. Just send her some catfish bait, a very sturdy rod, something like that. Not like I shouldn't have said it like that.
That didn't.
That's the wrong way to say that.
Leave that out. Yeah. No. But I've seen some different screenshots alive where people were being mean to her.
No.
Because supposedly because she's Iranian. I don't know. It was just
she's Iranian now? She was Jewish when she was catfishing me.
Thought, but who knows?
She's Iranian.
Yeah. She was losing it in the comments, and I guess she'd never been there, but people were being mean to her. So,
all right, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's keeping everything interesting. So
when I was being catfished, she was half Italian, half Jewish. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was. I guess if never a dull moment with that one. So
all right, well, best wishes to her and her very real
marriage, likely to her brother.
Yeah, sure. she's 100% here watching this right now. So wherever you are, congratulations on your engagement. It's great.
I'm sure
Sorry, I changed my number.
She might not. She might have crashed by now. Usually.
That's true. This is about the time when it wears off and she gets some good sleep. Which is crazy because she's also a lawyer. So she has a full-time job as a lawyer.
100%. Yeah. Well, just want to remind everybody before we get going, if you're watching over on TikTok, if you look in the top left-hand corner and you see a follow button, you guys should hit follow on TikTok. We've got some different things we're pushing over there. So like the live, we're at 4.2K likes for live. If we can get up to like 20K likes. That would be fantastic on TikTok. Please like the stream over on YouTube. And I don't know this exact terminology for Twitch. So whatever we do to push things out on Twitch, please do that.
There's got to be something with bits. Bit it out there. Be bitty today.
we had our members only event last night. We watched 2 more episodes of Dope Sick. That was fun. So if you guys want to join us for the next one, make sure to paid subscriber wherever you're watching. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. Also, that gift goal. If we could, hit that in quick, fast, and a hurry. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats.
You're not helping any of the rumors of who you were on a date with last night.
You just make shit up. That's the thing. I swear to God, one day we haven't met in person, everybody. We haven't met in person. I'm going to just show up one day and just.
That'll be the end of me.
There will be no more show because you just finally messed up. So, do you know any good sword fighting puns?
Do I know any good sword fighting? I don't know any good sword fighting puns. No.
Oh, well, I'm trying to think of words that have a dual meaning.
Nice. Nice. Thank you, Jen. All right, everybody. We'll see if we make it through this live today. Johnny's here. Good to see you, Johnny. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Somebody said Trump was ranting this morning. I didn't see it. What did he do this morning? I guess we can stop with that or start with that. Did Trump have a press conference this morning? What's he talking about? It was wild? All right, let's see. How did that not come up on my timeline? That's crazy. What was he talking about this morning? Election denial? Oh, Jesus. Oh, okay. Let's see. All right, I guess we can watch it. Just because it's January 6th, is that what happened? That's probably what happened. He probably turned on his TV and they were talking about January 6th and he freaked out and started saying the election was stolen again. Let's see. Where is it? It's not anywhere. Adderall musings. Hey, easy. We all have those from time to time. I don't even see it. Is this him like addressing the House GOP? Hour and 40 minutes long? Yeah, pass. It was? Okay. I don't see any clips of it. I see the full video on YouTube. I mean, you guys can't see it, but I'll do this early. I'll show you what I'm seeing. No. GOP addresses GOP. Yeah, they're all like 100. He's still he's going right now. Oh no. Oh, no. What's he saying? We'll just check in with him.
And now what they do, the radical left, they actually have people.
Yeah, that's us.
And it's hard to get them. They're all paid people. Most of these people are paid. You know they're paid when they have brand new, beautiful printed signs by like the highest quality printer. And you have a woman, free Maduro. And the sign is before we even did the attack. Free Maduro. Why do you want him freed? I don't know, but he should be free.
Oh, that full screen.
She reads the sign. What does that say? It says free. Well, that's what I believe. And you see the sign. It's like
they're always just so baffled that I saw this earlier. Somebody on Twitter was like, "Where do you think these signs came from?" It's like, dude, there's 80 signs. It would take an hour to print out those 80 signs.
Lisa, we should all have quality signage like that. The one thing I want their sign.
All right, I don't give a shit. This guy's lost his fucking mind. Is MAGA here yet? Are you guys here yet? This guy's an idiot. Just an absolute idiot. Oh, Jerry's here. Good to see you, Jerry Garcia. We do. We just love our narco traffickers. That's what we're advocating for. It couldn't possibly be that your fascist in chief is a goddamn lunatic with no plan. Who's just now openly calling to invade other countries. It's because we like narco-terrorists. That's why. By the way, if you're on TikTok, just please remember at some point TikTok's going to take me down today. We'll win our appeal and we'll be back tomorrow, but have a backup plan when they inevitably take us down for saying bad things about Donald Trump. They don't like that. Talks about trans people or transing everybody. Sorry, you're right, Bowsy. I apologize to the idiots out there for calling Trump an idiot. I don't mean to loop you in there. I don't even know what to say about him anymore, or any of you. You've all lost your fucking minds collectively. How in the world are you pretending this guy is sane? When was the last time that guy completed a sentence that made sense? Here it comes. Watch this. Oh, Joe Biden. Oh, Joe Biden. They're going to do that thing. We get it. Joe Biden was old and he stuttered. We get it. Sometimes he got lost in his own sentences. That's fine. But you guys have to start admitting that Donald Trump lost his mind a long time ago. He has no clue what he's talking about. Almost everything he says is just untrue. All right. TDS equals pecker lover. I assume that's something about birds. I do like birds. I've been thinking about getting one of those like bird feeders with the camera. I can watch birds every day. As I age, I'm becoming more and more interested with birds. I walk around with my daughter and I just look for birds all the time. I kind of get it. The older I get, the more I'm into birds. You guys, anybody else getting to that age? I just turned 40 this year. I know that our audience is just generally a little bit older than me. So I'd imagine if you're older than me, many of you also, yeah, there it is. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, like 70% of the audience is like, I fucking love birds. There's nothing better than spotting a bird. Then you can get those apps on your phone where you take the picture and it's like, this is the bird it is. This is a yellow swallow. I don't know if a yellow swallow is a real thing. Birds aren't real. That's a good point. I forgot about the whole birds aren't real thing. You have several bird feeders. Yes, you do. You're damn right you do. This is beginning to feel a little bit like a retirement home around here, and I'm here for it. Let's all treat this. We're gonna have bingo at 4:30, followed by a 5 p.m. dinner, and then we're gonna have a late night tonight in bed by 8:30. It's gonna be a really good day today. You like that yellow swallow? Nice, Hudson. Nice, dude. All right, let's jump into it. I don't want to ignore the Epstein files. There's not a lot happening with the Epstein files currently. There's not a lot to cover because Donald Trump is actively covering them up. Yesterday was the day that Donald Trump and his administration had to explain why anything was redacted, and they didn't do that. Instead, they went to court and said, this is taking a really long time, and so we don't have any information for you. So they're just openly defying the law. But I don't think we even covered this. And is this going to do that stupid thing where it doesn't let me make it, it doesn't let me zoom? Let's see. Always does it. I don't get it when I'm live. See that? Isn't that weird? When I'm live, it doesn't let me zoom. It just gives me like a pulse. Anyways, there's an email from to Jeffrey Epstein from Michael Wolff, I believe. This is a thread between the two of them. Here is I believe this is Epstein to Michael Wolff. One other weird thing about Epstein, dude can't spell. I don't know how he got all this money and all this power. He writes like a third grader, which is bizarre. Prostitution is a state crime. It says never before a man in his own house charged with soliciting. In Florida, first offenders are required to take a sex ed class and get pretrial diversion. No criminal record. There's felony solicitation for a third offense. A grand jury was held and they found me guilty of one count of felony solicitation because there were many girls. Mandatory diversion sentence. A grand jury usually only for capital murder cases. Carey and Ryder, police chief, pulled my garbage for months and surveilled the house, letting all the girls come and go. Called in the FBI. They did not like the grand jury result and released to the press the raw sewage of police interviews, i.e. no girl was cross-examined ever, unheard of. I don't think that's unheard of, that witnesses aren't cross-examined in front of a grand jury. The girls read the house multiple times for $200 for a rub and tug, no sex. Some worked in the Locac massage parlors, most in their mid-20s. Like, this guy can't spell. Just can't spell at all. There's only press stories Told my strippers of me buying my girlfriend from Slovakia from her parents. Girls under 15 all made up to get press. FBI puts a task force together. Yada yada. Anyways, then there's this part. This is the important part. Blacked out, and I assume what this is. Virginia Giuffre worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump knew of it and came to my house many times during that period. The testimony of the houseman, John Alessi, confirmed it. He never got a massage, and Gossman, a friend of mine, ran into financial difficulty with assisted living homes. His home was listed at $45 million with no takers for months on end. He and I agreed of a price of $30 million. His wife, Blank, ends up going to jail for lying to the bankruptcy trustee about her jewelry. This in the summer of 2004. Became the stalking horse bidder at $36 million, i.e., if someone bid higher, I would receive a fee. Trump buys the house at the telephone auction. Only me, Trump, and his friend. How about this? Pulte. Remember how Trump's been doing this weird shit for Bill Pulte? The Pulte Homes people. Now, he spelled it wrong. It's Pulte. But interestingly enough, Trump, Pulte, and Epstein, all friends, all running in the same circles. And now Pulte's son is working for the Trump administration. Just another person from the Epstein files in this administration. Trump buys it for $45 million, puts it on the market for $125 million, which he says serves the purpose of a justification for a high sell later, and no one will touch it. It's then bought in the name of Trump's properties. No idea who owns it or what else it owns. 3 years later, he sells it to I forget how to say his name, Rybalolev, for $100 million. This is the Russian oligarch that Trump sold this house to that nobody wanted to buy. Paid $45 million for it, then sold it 3 years later for $100 million to a Russian oligarch. Should have had a $50 million plus capital gain. He tells everybody he spent $20 to $30 million to fix it up. That would justify a reduction in capital gains. Key question, how did he report the sell? If he did it, and here's where now it's just general knowledge that Trump is a tax cheat. If he did it all on his 2008 tax return, he has no money when he buys the house. His business model is putting his name on a real estate development and gets a fee for using his name. The hotel biz is just that. Someone else buys the hotel, hoping to make a profit from its operation and eventual sell. Trump puts his name on it and gets a 2% fee and maybe a piece of the profit, if any, on any sell. He touts the project as his, just as in his current financial statements on file as president, he lists his income as the gross receipts of the club with no expenses deducted, not his personal revenue, i.e. the Durrell Golf Club loses money every year. It pays out more than it takes in, but he lists the revenue as his income. Amazing. It was apparently well known how Trump cheated, how he got loans, and who was funding him. You can go through parts of the Epstein files, and you can then connect it to parts of other Trump investigations where it's clear that Trump and Epstein shared like the same bankers, and no bankers would really do business with them. Not a lot of them, except for Deutsche Bank, and they had all these Russian connections with Deutsche Bank. So why didn't the Venezuela military intervene with the U.S.? They did, Tim. What do you think the firefight was, Tim? Why do you think people are dead, Tim? There's like 80 people dead in Venezuela because there was a firefight. There were multiple service members that were shot. Are you unaware of this, my friend? Why don't you... follow-up question, Tim. Why do you think it is that you guys don't know anything? Why do you think it is that you guys come in here every day and repeat lies that I saw on Twitter that now you're just repeating? Have you ever read something, Tim? Like, have you ever fact-checked Donald Trump ever, or any Republican? I doubt it. I doubt you've ever heard anything they said and went, I'm going to see if that's true or not. You just go in there. Oh, we got the MAGA here today. It's good to see the MAGA here. Yesterday we had about 400 or 500 of you, and it collectively raised the IQ about 6 points in here. So it's good to have you back, repeating all the shit that I already saw on Twitter this morning, and you guys are writing it off as your own opinions. This is going to be another fun day because it's just another day exposing that not only is Donald Trump a moron, he's also corrupt, and he's also being led by a bunch of shadow figures, and none of you realize that. You still think that the guy who can't complete sentences is running shit up there. Am I going to talk about the meeting in the skiff Harris talked about? I don't know what that is, Drew. a meeting in the skiff that Harris talked about? I haven't seen anything from. I saw that Harris said something yesterday. I didn't read it. What did she say, Drew? Yeah. Thank you. Clowns make people laugh. You're welcome, Zoe. Does anybody know what he's talking about? What did Kamala Harris in the skiff? I think it's with a C, by the way. Harris said, "Get me another drink." Oh, that's just you guys calling her a drunk. Oh, it's a fake AI video? Trump gave Putin flyovers of Ukraine. Let me see. I don't know anything about this. This is news to me. I don't even see it on Twitter. Drew, just send it to me if you have it. Send it on, if you have a link, send it on TikTok and Jen will see it, or just message it to Jen. I'm not sure what you're referencing. All right, let's get back to this. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that today of all days, or I guess the logs or metadata concerning the destruction, deletion, alteration, misplacement, or concealment of documents, recordings, or electronic data related to Epstein and his associates, his detention and death, or any investigative files. We passed the 30 days. It's over. The 30 days is over. And at the end of that 30 days, what we have here is within 15 days of completion of the release required under Section 2, which we're well past that, and we're now at the 15 days, the Attorney General shall submit to the House and Senate committees on the judiciary a report listing all categories of records released and withheld, a summary of redactions, including legal basis, a list of all government officials and politically exposed persons named or referenced in the release materials, with no redactions permitted under subsection B. None of this was done. None. So, MAGA, I'd like to talk to you today about the law. I'd like to talk to you about cover-ups. If January 5th was the day this all had to come out. That was yesterday. If you know how dates work, today is January 6th. Yesterday was January 5th. That was their last possible day to provide this information, and we don't have it. So, now what? You remember me shouting, it's the law, they have to release it? Yeah, they do have to release it. They're just not. Marine, you might be new here. I'm going to be deport heavy today. If you come into this live and we're talking about a subject and you ask us and repeatedly try and deflect from the subject we're talking about, we're going to remove you from the live. This is a classroom setting. You're welcome to be here. You're welcome to argue with me. You're welcome to call me names. You're welcome to be really, really rude. Our only rule is when we talk about things, you don't get to deflect and be the little bitches that you sometimes are. It is real bitch behavior for you to pay attention to what we're talking about here and beg us to talk about something else. It shows that you are insecure, that you don't have knowledge, and that you are indeed a bitch. So please don't come in here and be a bitch. Our immigration policy is no bitches. We deport bitches. You will assimilate to a non-bitch status when you're here. And if you continue to be bitches, we have to get rid of you. So Republicans, I'm going to ask you again, can you explain to me why it is that yesterday we were required by law that Trump signed to have all this information and we don't have it? Anybody? Thank you. I do agree with deportation. I've always agreed with deportation. Thank you. Anybody? LA Apple Dumpling. Please stay on subject. Thank you. Someone failed. I'm not in office. Failed? Failed or didn't do it? So are they in violation of the law? Should Pam Bondi be brought up today? If she breaks the law willfully, shouldn't she be charged? Assimilate, inseminate. What's the difference? Anybody? Amy said, oh, sorry, I was late on that. Amy said, riparian preserve at Water Ranch in Gilbert, lots of birds. We loved it. You told me about that before. I got to go. No more days off for you every time something huge happens. Maybe I just need to take days off so news can happen. This channel's the hard truth. Some Trump supporters in the ear. Thank you. Yes, she should be arrested today. Yeah, I'm not a Democrat, Hugh Janus. I think the Democrats suck. So if you're in here to deflect from the cover-up of the Epstein files by talking about the Democrats, nobody here is going to give a fuck. Raise your hand if you give a fuck about the Democrats in here. Nobody gives a fuck. We want the law followed. That's what and when Democrats break the law, we run them out, and then Trump pardons them. Hey guys, the Democrats put you in jail. We're going to pardon you. Yeah. See the chat here, Republicans? This is your problem. You don't want to address any of this shit. We literally don't care. We could give a fuck about the Democrats. We don't care about them at all. You're in the wrong chat here. You can go somewhere else, but if you're going to be here, I need you guys to address this. You don't think Donald Trump is telling her not to release this stuff? Yeah, thank you. McFarland said, just a quick comment from the rest of the world. You guys aren't trying to be the good guy anymore. I'm starting to think maybe we have never really tried to be the good guys. We seem to just be fascists who are now imperialists. There's only one side covering this up, David Thompson. What side should I cover? What should I be covering with this story on the Epstein files? What are the Democrats doing here with the Epstein files? They voted to release it unanimously. The Republicans threatened everybody not to vote for it. It took 6 months to even get a vote on this. Finally, after enough people pressured Republicans, they voted for it. And this is one of those times where you can't really point a finger at the Democrats. You can't even say like they were in on it. They all voted unanimously from the start to release all of this. And we don't have it. Your president and your attorney general and your FBI director and your party is covering up for somebody who abused children, sold children. No, Bushmaster, you didn't listen, and I know you struggle. We're talking about this right now. We're talking about this right now, Bushmaster. You don't get to deflect. Bushmaster, I will absolutely remove you from the live today if you don't answer this question. I have no time for your shit. Explain to me, Bushmaster, why it is that you guys aren't talking about the fact that your party and your party alone, this administration, is covering up the Epstein files. It was supposed to be released. We were supposed to have the understanding of the redactions, and they just didn't do it. You have one chance to answer this question, or else we got to get rid of you. And this is going to prove again what everybody already knows about you, Bushmaster, is that you're kind of a coward, and you're just a fan of Donald Trump, and you're a troll. Because of the writing in the law. I'm reading the law, dipshit. This is the law. And it says that they had to release it within 30 days, and then we had to have the explanation yesterday. So we have, by their own admission, they've released 2% of the files, and we have no explanation for why they redacted stuff. One more try, Bushmaster. One more. All right, just get rid of Bushmaster. He just repeated the same shit. Good try, bud. There is nothing more prominent in the Republican Party than cowardice and cuckery. That's who you've become. You just wake up every day and go, how can I defend Donald Trump today as he covers up the Epstein files? He invades other countries, covers up the Epstein files, and you still wake up mad at Democrats for some reason. I don't get any of you. All right. This was Ryan Grimm. I tried to get to this last week. We just kept running out of time, so I'm going to cover it today. He went on the Tim Dillon podcast. This is Ryan Grimm from Drop Site News. And one of the things that, interestingly enough, keeps coming up with every piece of foreign policy from Donald Trump, and almost every piece of domestic policy, Donald Trump keeps getting linked to Israel. The actions he does keep leading back to Israel. Here's Ryan Grimm to Tim Dillon on Epstein's links to intelligence, specifically Mossad and CIA.
But he was operating at a layer above, I think. The Mossad and the CIA, they're there to serve the major power centers, throughout the world, and different factions within them serve different factions at different times. But if you think of the kind of global elite as kind of organized around that Davos conference, or this Davos crew out there, like the CIA, it's more properly understood that CIA works for them, and Jeffrey Epstein was an integral player in that Davos set. And I think sometimes his allies and he himself was waning. He's not doing as well. Other times his power is on the rise. That's how it works inside nebulous organizations like this. But he's right there at the center of this.
It's interesting how the same Republicans that are the same MAGA folks, like they talk about Davos, they talk about the World Economic Forum, they talk about like these billionaires that are on the left and how they control everything. And as soon as it's very obvious who's controlling everything and that they're on the side with Donald Trump and that Donald Trump is in these files that they're all hiding, suddenly we don't care about Davos anymore. Suddenly we don't care about the World Economic Forum. This is the first time that I'm aware of that we have like direct proof of these shadowy figures who are controlling the CIA, who are pulling the strings at the CIA. The CIA is not part of our government. It doesn't appear. It appears that they are just their own branch and their own. They have their own agenda and they don't report to anybody. And you guys all believed all of that until now. And now that Trump's involved, suddenly you don't believe it.
Fundamentally undemocratic global institution. It's not even an institution. It's just this amoebic type of entity. He's right there in the middle of it, and he still has to jockey for power, but he is then able to deploy his own assets, whether it's Mossad or whether it's people in the CIA, in order to serve he and his allies' own interests, which sometimes align with the interests of Israel, sometimes align with the interests of the U.S., but they're also self-serving interests.
What are the main concerns, the primary objectives of the, quote, Davos set? Is it a monolith, or do those people have...
Hugh Janus, you're getting a 5-minute mute. That's on YouTube. I've asked you 4 times now to stay on subject. We're not going to talk about trans people today. You fucking perv, dude. Why are you obsessed with trans people? Go beat off. We're going to give you 5 minutes. Go watch whatever video you need to watch. Beat off, and then come back and let's talk about this. But your obsession with trans people is weird. 5-minute mute for you.
Varied interests.
I think they're in competition with each other for each other's resources, for sure. But they're also in competition with the 99.9% of the world that doesn't really want them to exist. And so what they're trying to do is kind of justify their existence and maintain their power and justify their existence. That's why when they get together, they often talk about the kinds of things that would be wonderful if they delivered on them. They're going to end world hunger.
Literally, mods, anybody who talks about trans people right now, just mute them for 5 minutes. We're staying on subject today. Mods, free reign. Anybody who says anything about trans people, mute them. They need to go fire one off and come back when they can stay on subject.
They're going to end illiteracy around the world. They're going to go after disease and malnutrition. They're going to reverse climate change. And yet somehow it just all keeps getting worse, and their power continues to grow, and their wealth continues to be concentrated at the very top. So their goal is, I think, self-perpetuation and kind of continuing to lock down, their position in the world, and to keep the public at bay, because they're fundamentally an undemocratic entity.
Someone, Catherine Austin Fitz, described some of the people you're talking about as intergenerational pools of capital.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, and they're very much transnational.
Right.
Like they are not American.
Not that kind of trans Republicans. I know we're about to freak out again. It's not that kind. Transnational is a different thing.
They're not Israeli. They're not Chinese. Like if they're Chinese, they actually have a little bit more strings attached to what they're able to do.
Right.
But in the Western ones, they're looking for their own sovereignty. And what it appears like is going on with Epstein and his work with Israel, and also the UAE. We're going to have a lot more to come about his work with Saudi Arabia and the UAE. What the UAE and
how come all of Epstein's connections, foreign connections, are the same foreign connections as Trump has? How come these are all the same people? We've never had a president with these types of connections before. And now Trump has them. You guys haven't questioned any of those connections. You don't question the connections that he has to the people who funded 9/11. None of that. But the exact same connections that Epstein has, Trump is openly working with. Is that? Can we draw anything from that? Or no, we're just going to keep ignoring that?
Israel both figured out is that when you're operating in this kind of world that is filled with nation states have particular rights. They can vote in the UN. They can set up banks. Those banks can then move money, and those banks are then subject to the laws and the judiciary kind of within those states. And if the national security apparatus controls that judiciary, you can basically be a criminal gang. So the United Arab Emirates, for instance, they're doing enormous amounts of like money laundering. Like if all this wealth that's coming out of Africa flows right into the UAE, and then they skim off the top. You're like, how are they doing this? This is basically mafia stuff. It's like, well, they call themselves a state. They call themselves a government, so they can do that. And Israel does a version of that as well, where the state is aligned with the companies, and they have this protection that they can operate in a way where if they were just private actors, like, wait, you can't do that.
Right. So it's kind of a cartel.
Yeah, right. It's a legalized cartel that operates as a state.
Weird, right? Isn't that weird how it's the exact same connections? We shouldn't look there, though, right? We should worry about California. What are you talking about? Gas prices in California? That's what we should worry about, is gas prices, which are controlled by oil companies and not politicians. We should definitely just only talk about gas prices when this stuff comes up. All right. One more, couple more things with Epstein, then we'll move on. Oh shit, what did I just do? Just a reminder, this story came out this weekend. I don't even think we got to this story either. But according to the Wall Street Journal, due to this, the Wall Street Journal reported that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a frequent visitor to Trump's Mar-a-Lago club. In the 90s and early 2000s, the club was also sending spa employees on house calls, young women, to Epstein's nearby mansion for massages, manicures, and other spa services. So there's Trump on the record saying, Jeffrey's a terrific guy. I've known him for many years. He likes beautiful women as much as I do, but he likes them more on the younger side. And then Trump, with this knowledge, is sending spa employees to Jeffrey Epstein, to his house, just sending out house calls. The house calls went on for years, even as spa employees warned each other about Epstein, who was known among staff for being sexually suggestive and exposing himself during the appointments, according to the former Mar-a-Lago employees. Now, I know you guys don't care about this, and I know that especially if any of these women are over the age of 18, you really don't care because, women, right? But this is sex trafficking. The spa occasionally provided house calls for members. Epstein wasn't a dues-paying member of the club, but Trump told staff to treat him like one. Didn't have to pay dues. Trump just gave him a free membership. Did we know that? Epstein had an account at the spa where his companion, Ghislaine Maxwell, booked appointments on his behalf. Now, this isn't just the Wall Street Journal reporting this. This is from the Epstein files here. This is witness information here. Additional info, again, just trying to find out the NYPD detective on the FBI sex trafficking task force that called me a couple weeks ago and spoke to me about some of these issues. How is contact known? This is about Trump. He participated regularly in paying money to force me to blank with him, and he was present when my uncle unalived my newborn child and disposed of the body in Lake Michigan. We're not going to talk about that, though, right? Gas in California. Right? Fraud in Minnesota. Fraud that we all knew about, by the way. Fraud that you guys just found about. And you guys aren't talking about the fraud in Minnesota now anymore either. Now what are you on? It's actually all right to go in and steal the oil from Venezuela. That's where we're at now. No connection. Got that. All right, that's it for the Epstein stuff today. I want to show you what's going on in the United States now today. Now, this is not, I don't think, necessarily being reported accurately by people on the left, so I'm going to try and report on this accurately. This is Jessica Plichta. She and many others had a march. They were our opponents of invading Venezuela. Again, not a defense of Maduro, but an argument that we shouldn't invade foreign countries. That it's not our job to be imperialist. So they walked down this street, her and a bunch of other people, and here she is giving an interview on the news.
This is not just a foreign issue, it's our tax dollars that are also being used to commit these war crimes. It is also the duty of...
Tony, that thing I read you just barely said that the ladies were working, that were working at Trump's spa were complaining. It is remarkable to watch you in real time see women admit, like, they're warning each other. They're complaining about this. That's what I just read you. And then you say none of them ever complained. I just showed you that they complained. That was a complaint. And you're like, oh, they never complained. Anyways, back to this.
Us, the people, to stand against the Trump regime, the Trump administration that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car. And now right here, we're showing you video we have. Immediately after the interview finished, Plickta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video. And an officer tells Plickta that she is being arrested for obstructing a roadway and failure to obey a lawful command from a police officer. You can see as she's taken away in that car.
She obstructing a roadway there? Are we now arresting people for peaceful protest in this country? Is that what we're doing now, MAGA?
She was issuing a number of messages about wanting the U.S. to free Maduro. But again, she was taken away by police officers there, and you can see in this video.
You see, this is the march. These are the police escorting the march. So if they arrested her for this, why didn't they arrest here? Why are they escorting this march? Notice here, none of these signs say anything about Maduro. No war with Venezuela. No war. Not one person saying free Maduro, because nobody says free Maduro. Nobody's defending Maduro. Notice that?
Officers were closely following this.
Albert, I am not unhappy here. I criticize things. Donald Trump's entire platform for 10 years has been whining about about America. MAGA's entire platform for 10 years has been whining about America. In fact, Trump as president has done virtually nothing but whine about Joe Biden. If you guys don't like it here, you should leave. When I don't like something, I don't quit. I don't take my ball and go home. I stay and fight. And what you're struggling with right now is you don't have a response to this. You just don't like us bringing it up. Can you explain to me how somebody just got arrested for peacefully protesting? What are we doing that?
Session in downtown Grand Rapids. We have reached out to GRPD for more information about the arrest, but we have not heard back so far.
Did you see any of those signs that advocated for Maduro? No, but they're going to say it's about Maduro. Why? Because you can't address the reality here that we have invaded another country for their oil. And Trump said it. Some of you are still saying it's not for oil. I don't even know. Like, don't tell Trump that you're disagreeing with him. He's going to be very upset if you disagree with him. We're getting close to a full-on authoritarianism. And I think that we're getting close to what's happening now in Israel. In Israel now, they are tracking non-criminal Palestinians.
Palestinians are not allowed to drive here. Palestinian shops are closed by military orders, and the street here is full of Israeli military surveillance. Let's see. The Palestinian kids in the window, they are caged in the house. Look, they put fences in their windows to be protected from the settler and army violence. Look, surveillance for the military is...
Amy said, don't you know the deep state Dems planned it all in the decades before Trump ran for office? We're so smart, we saw the future. It was to frame him. That's right. I forgot about that. Thank you, Amy.
Up there, and this is the surveillance of the Israeli settlers. So imagine that the Israeli settlers, they have...
It wasn't me. Said men weaponizing women's terrified silence is gross. Yeah, look, this is what's... It is. It's a good point. Like, when you watch this chat, it's hard not to assume that all people are gross. I try and leave this chat every day and think to myself, not everybody is like these dirtbags here that like are cool covering up sex crimes, that are cool like silencing speech, that are cool using a military force against their political opponents. And I hope I'm right. But that's how I keep going, is that I assume that the people here that are fighting for their lives in the chat are just miserable fucking losers, and that they don't represent most of America. And I hope I'm right about that.
Their own systems here.
These checkpoints are where the latest frictionless technology is tested, including this AI-enabled remotely controlled gun, which fires stun grenades, tear gas, and sponge-tip bullets. It's made by Israeli company Smart Shooter. These checkpoints also boast Israel's most comprehensive data gathering tool, Wolfpack.
From 10 to 15 cameras are at the checkpoint. This is where they use Red Wolf and Blue Wolf.
Now, Red Wolf and Blue Wolf, I looked into this. These are United States-owned companies. The companies providing all this surveillance, were some of them were started in Israel, but they were purchased by United States companies. And if you go and you get what's publicly available on the ownership, and these are privately traded companies, and so you're not going to get a ton of public disclosure. It's the same people investing with Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen. It's the same group of investors. It's the same group of people that are fans of Curtis Yarvin, who want to turn the United States into a monarchy, and the United States will be a monarchy with a police state. This is what they want for the United States. All the people that gave Trump the most money that own these companies, this is what they want for the United States. And Gaza is now their testing ground.
The Israeli military recently invented two systems, Red Wolf and Blue Wolf. Blue Wolf in the soldiers' phones. They take your photo, then they know all details about you, where you've been, where you go, what you like, what you don't like.
And if you think they won't do this in America, we've watched ICE do this in America to both citizens and non-citizens. This is what they're doing. I love you calling me weak. You're so weak. Why don't you just let daddy government be in charge and track your every move? What a pussy. You won't just lick the boots? You guys are weak. Listen to daddy government. Daddy government knows what's best for you. Let this happen. They're doing this right now to citizens in this country right fucking now. If you MAGA folks don't pull your head out of Trump's ass, you're going to look really, really dumb someday. I'm not going to be called a coward from a bunch of bootlickers. We need the government watching everything we do. They need to be able to walk up and scan our faces and determine whether or not we are good or bad.
Like your private things. Then there is another system, the Red Wolf is set up in the checkpoints and in the control rooms. And I
didn't say kidnapped by ICE, watcher of Cope. And what I said is they are scanning the faces of citizens and non-citizens. But yes, if you want me to pull it up, I can give you dozens of examples of people, and you just Google this, actually. You're going to go to Google right now, watcher of Cope, and you're going to, or whatever AI you use, go to Grok. I know you guys like him. Go to the Nazi AI and just ask Grok, have there been any instances where American citizens were detained and removed by ICE? It's dozens. Yes, this has happened. Well, it tends to happen, you know, when it's hard to verify somebody's citizenship. So sometimes we take people and we keep them locked up for 3 days.
Filing Palestine.
I didn't say deported. I never said deported. Don't change the argument. Randall Hughes, you have to apologize for getting the argument wrong. YouTube mods, will you follow up with Randall and just make sure that Randall doesn't say dumb shit? Randall, you have to acknowledge here that I said scanning their faces. I didn't even say detained, but there are examples of people being detained.
According to their political stands.
When the soldiers scan a Palestinian's face, they get a traffic light style indication of their supposed risk.
White for Palestinians who are not doing anything about the occupation. You have yellow and you have orange. For example, I'm a human rights defender. I am red. It
Get removed from where they were. Detained, removed from where they were, not removed from the country.
means check him, make his life harder. He's a suspect.
So the frictionless technology actually enables a lot more.
Yeah, Captain, it should be a Fourth Amendment violation. It is a Fourth Amendment violation, but this presidency and his enablers don't really give a fuck about the Constitution because they want a monarchy. They don't want to do democracy anymore.
Friction for some people.
They use us as simulation objects for their technology. Israeli security solution companies, they installed cameras, sensors, drones, and they tested it on us without our consent. Do they sell it? Do they use it for other research? What kind of data they collect?
It seems to be the often...
Just think about this for a second. You're walking down the street. Law enforcement comes up. They scan your face. On their phone or their scanner, which is right now it's phones, it gives them a red light or a green light. If it's a red light, they arrest you. If it's a green light, you can go. They don't have to tell you why it's a red light or a green light. It's just red light, green light. Curtis Yarvin talked about this. His plan for America, and Andreessen, Peter Thiel, they all view him literally as like a prophet. His plan is that you would have the reds, the blues, and the grays. And the reds are you guys, the dipshits, the ones that follow orders and buy, like listen to the government no matter what. You're always going to side with daddy government. You are the reds. You're safe. The grays are like you're like a middle ground. You're second-class citizens. The grays are the ruling class. The reds, you guys get to live there, but under the ruling class. And the blues, us, people who say, hey, we have rights, we like democracy, we're fans of the Constitution, we will be criminals.
Secret partnerships between the military and private sector that have helped Israeli companies become world leaders in their fields. In 2019, a report revealed that Israeli company AnyVision had installed turnstiles in the West Bank and was collecting movement and biometric data from the tens of thousands of Palestinians forced to use them. Early investor Microsoft pulled their funding after this was revealed. The company changed its name to Usto and says it works in 43 countries with clients including casinos, airports and schools.
You think they're sharing that information? You think that they're not collecting all this data? You don't think that when our government inevitably tries to use it with the Trump administration, you don't think they'll have all of our data? You don't think that like they'll know what I'm saying? Oh, he doesn't like the Trump administration. And I said this yesterday, and it's the same response every time. I've done this multiple times. I ask you guys if you would care if right now the FBI broke into my house and arrested me, and they arrested me because I was speaking out against the administration. I think 90% of you wouldn't give a fuck, and you would celebrate it because you don't like the fact that we're talking about this government as corrupt. I don't think any of you would care.
Another Israeli company, Visites, make behavioral recognition systems that watch CCTV feeds for any threats.
The company actually created the ability to take a real-time video stream and understand what's going on within the stream.
The company is supported by the Israeli military. It's marketed for use in cities.
Sorry, I meant, when I said you guys wouldn't care, I meant Republicans. Thank you for my friends for saying that you would care.
Prisons and refugee camps around the world.
Oh, it started with Trump. It absolutely started with Trump. Trump is the one using this technology on American citizens right now. We weren't using this technology on American citizens before. You're right, though. I will agree with you, Republicans. And this is why I'm a little bit confused. Because I was with you guys when we talked about our surveillance state under Biden. Like, Biden also worked with Palantir. And I was critical of that. And when I was critical of that, all the Republicans were like, yeah, this guy gets it. This guy gets it. He doesn't... They were afraid. They had conspiracy theories that the Biden administration would take the technology from Palantir and they would use it against American citizens, especially the facial recognition stuff. You guys were all talking about this during COVID, right? You're like, oh, they're going to have vaccine passports and they're going to control where you travel. And a lot of people were saying like they're going to put a chip in you. All these conspiracy theories that went along with COVID that never actually materialized. Now Trump's doing them, but because you liked Trump, because for some reason the guy who pushed through the vaccine before all the trials were done with Operation Warp Speed, somehow he was on your anti-vax side and also pushing the vaccine through, which didn't make any sense. Now he's doing it, and you guys have all gone quiet. I was with you back then. But now you guys have all changed your opinion.
We're in Abu Dis in East Jerusalem, and I'm standing next to a old...
Let me say one other thing here. Somebody said, that's communism. Can we please understand some things? Communism, socialism, capitalism, those are not government structures. Those are economic theories. It doesn't matter what your economic, like the economic makeup of your country is. You can be socialist, you could be communist, or you could claim you're communist. You can't really have a government if you're communist. You could be a capitalist. And your government can do this. It's not linked to your economic theory. This can happen no matter what you believe economically. This is about government overreach. And you guys that keep attaching it to socialism and communism or capitalism, you're just fucking missing the point. This can happen in any country, no matter what their economic structure is. It has nothing to do with economic theory. You have to start understanding the difference between what these words mean. Otherwise, you're going to allow yourself to just be in an authoritarian state, and you'll wake up one day and go, what the fuck happened? Well, what the fuck happened is they convinced you that it was communism and socialism that did this, when it's not. It's authoritarianism. That's why when like somebody brings up fascism and you guys say communism or socialism, it's just wrong. Fascism is authoritarianism. It exists only on the right. But the same elements that you hate about fascism, the control, a universal leader. Says we're good. Let me know on YouTube when we're back. Twitch, are we still around?
Okay, I can see.
We're back everywhere. Okay. Sorry, guys. Don't know what's happening. I'll call my internet provider again today. Last time, they just had to like refresh my signal. So this happened yesterday too. Back to the rant. We have to, Republicans, Democrats, we all have to start acknowledging the reality that the thing that we're all afraid of is authoritarianism. And these authoritarians love to distract you with economic theory and say that it's the economic theory that's actually the problem. It's not the economic theory that's the problem. It's authoritarianism. And whether that authoritarian is on your side or not, you should reject it. You should reject authoritarianism unless you just want to be cucky little bitches. And if you think for 1 second that the Democrats have done authoritarian things, you're right. If you think that Joe Biden did authoritarian things from time to time, you're right. So did Trump. So did Bush. So did Obama. They all did. It's our job as citizens to oppose that. And for the Republicans, you would be absolutely right to say that a majority of Democrats overlook it when it's done on the left. You're right about that. Most people overlook it when it's their party. But then you also need to accept that you're doing it now. Right now, you're doing the very thing that you were so upset about 4 years ago. You should always oppose authoritarianism. That's my frustration with so many of you. You're afraid of people like me? Why, Schmitty? If I was in charge, you wouldn't lose any rights. What are you afraid of with me? I'll stop it for a second for anybody in the chat. What would make you nervous about me being in charge or my ideas being put in place? I don't think any of you know my ideas, but what would make you afraid? I'm now a libertarian. I was a libertarian, hoodie. You're just a bootlicker. I think that libertarians are very close to socialists, by the way. The original libertarians were they had like a split with Marx on the role of the government, but they had the same ideas. Yeah. Get nothing done, Larry? What do you mean get nothing done? You guys would have healthcare. I'd fix healthcare. I would immediately stop all of these foreign interventions all over the world. I would stop trying to be the world's police, and I would spend that on American citizens. I would spend that on healthcare, infrastructure, and education. And that makes you scared? No, my emotions don't control my policies. That's silly. That's what Trump does. Trump just invaded Venezuela, and it's been confirmed now that the catalyst was he saw Maduro dancing, and he got really frustrated and went and invaded. Trump is nicer than me? No, he's not. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I don't need to be nice. And it's true, like, with all due respect to you, Josh, do you read the comments? I'm far nicer to you guys than the comments are to me. In all fairness. And sometimes, I was raised in a way, I was raised conservative, and I was raised with tough love. Is it tough love hard for you? When we point out that you're being cucky little bitches, is that hard for you? Do you need me to gentle parent? That's the interesting thing. Like, on the one hand, the Republicans are saying I'm too emotional, and on the other hand, they're saying you keep hurting our feelings. Like, pick a direction. I'm either too mean to you, or I'm too emotional. But you're just advocating for Trump because you like Trump and you don't like us. And it seems to me that most of you are not very clear about what's happening in this country. You seem to celebrate censorship a lot. For the people who've been crying about censorship, you sure are celebrating it. You all thought the Twitter files were like the biggest story ever. And now all right-wing organizations are buying up and censoring people on the left, and you don't care. Because it was never really about censorship. It was about people pointing out that you were wrong. That's emotion. You've all just believed so many lies for so long that when people don't go along with your lies and they don't want to platform you, you get very upset. But then you guys get in office, you just start deplatforming people. You start buying up all of the news organizations, all the social media platforms, and they tweak the algorithm so that it just like pushes out right-wing propaganda all day long, and you don't care about that. So it to me it seems like it was never your real argument. Your real argument was you thought everybody should have to listen to you.
But now,
no, not like Soros. Soros doesn't own a single social media platform. He never has, not one single time. Who owns Twitter? A right-winger. Who owns Facebook? A right-winger. What did Facebook specifically say? They said, we are actually going to move our moderation team to Austin, Texas, and we're going to focus more on masculinity. Elon Musk, if I go watch a video, like I'll watch a video from, let's just say it's Drop Site News, who we're watching now, or actually this is Al Jazeera, but I'm watching a Drop Site News clip. If I scroll, the next clip is going to be some like right-wing influencer spouting off something about January 6th. Like it doesn't even give me like a curated algorithm. It's just, I pick a video and the very next thing it shows me is whatever Elon Musk wants me to see. It's unusable now as a scrolling feature. Anybody who uses Twitter, you know this is true. It's unusable to scroll. It's no longer a curated algorithm. For you on the right, it feels that way. It feels like, oh, good. This is, oh yeah, more of what I like, more of what I like. But I can't scroll through Twitter anymore. I have to stop that video and then I have to go back to my timeline. Why is that? Because they're curating it. Why is it that when I start talking about Israel, my channel gets taken down? Every time, without fail. My channel gets taken down when I get openly critical of Israel. Why is that? Because of who is going to own and run TikTok.
a derelict hotel owned by Palestinians. And during the Second Intifada in the early 2000s, the separation wall was built, and it's kind of surrounded now on all sides. No one can access it, the owners can't use it, the guests are not coming. But what Israel has done is on the top, they've installed surveillance cameras.
The location is patrolled by police and private security 24 hours a day.
Just a minute ago, we saw them move, probably to watch us.
Minutes later, 4 young Israeli police officers with machine guns approached us.
So what are you...
We're just filming, explaining documentary about the situation.
I just showed you a video on the streets of America of this exact same thing happening, except for in Israel, the journalist didn't get arrested. I just showed you in America somebody using their freedom of speech get arrested for their freedom of speech. Not one of you Republicans said, "Hey, that's too far."
Formerly Palestinian-run hotel, taken over by the military and turned into a surveillance post, could be seen as a microcosm of the occupation. But what is visible...
Well, I appreciate whoever that was that said you're from Venezuela. I love that Maduro, my brother, was arrested, killed for not supporting the government. My parent lost their land and died. I moved to USA to become America, voted for Trump. Cool. Except for you're voting for somebody very similar to what Maduro wants to do. What Maduro did and what all these authoritarians do is they get into office and they, while the country is struggling economically, they use their power to suck up funds. Since Trump got in office, he's made about $4 to $5 billion. He's not doing anything for us. He's doing a lot of stuff for his friends. So I can appreciate that you don't like Maduro. I don't like Maduro either. I wouldn't want to live under Maduro's regime either. But then you came here and you voted for somebody like him. You voted for another corrupt authoritarian here. You might be excited that he killed or that they arrested your leader. But you voted for somebody the same way. Please mansplain to the person who's lived it some more. I will, Jake. She's talking about America. I've lived America, Jake. I'm mansplaining to her America, not Maduro. I actually said I appreciate what she said about Maduro, and I agree with what she said about Maduro. This isn't mansplaining. This is me explaining to her that she came here and voted for an authoritarian. Because she doesn't know, apparently, what the fuck Trump's all about. She just saw that Trump didn't like Maduro, and that apparently was enough.
Is just part of the overall picture of how the occupation surveils Palestinians. First, there is the physical infrastructure of walls and checkpoints. The checkpoints record
Amy said, wait until they find out that their local co-op is inherently socialist. Don't tell them.
Movement data and biometric information. Then they have CCTV cameras, which are monitored by AI for perceived threats of violence. And that in turn is hooked up to databases like Red Wolf, which track everyone's political profile. But there is also a more fundamental level of surveillance, which is that most of the phone and internet system is routed through Israel.
Israel is controlling the ICT infrastructure in the occupied Palestinian territory, which means that Palestinians are not able to have safe access to the internet.
With control of...
Cody, I'd like you to explain to me some of these actions that the Trump administration is taking right now, and explain to me how an administration that willfully defies Supreme Court orders, multiple court orders, we just showed earlier today, they just like ignore the law when it comes to Epstein. They're creating a surveillance state. They're targeting their political enemies and only their political enemies. They're pulling food from poor people only in states that are blue states. I would be interested to hear how in the world Trump is. Now, I said authoritarian. This is an incredibly authoritarian state that we live in.
Basic communications infrastructure, the Israelis know every phone number and can tap any call. Israeli intelligence also have teams monitoring all the social media platforms.
Many Palestinians
We're doing that now too.
Basically, they don't share their political opinion online because
AK says, I was a Democrat and I saw you guys make misdemeanors into felonies. We didn't do that. That's the law in New York. We didn't do that. Nobody made misdemeanors into felonies. If you commit misdemeanors in furtherance of a felony, then those misdemeanors become felony charges. You just didn't understand the law. So you, like the person voting from Venezuela, saw something that you didn't understand and then voted for a criminal instead.
they would be afraid of being interrogated or arrested by the Israelis.
I find it remarkable.
Well, what good happened, Greg? What's the good thing that happened that I can't accept? We'll end it here on this video. Tell me. A lot of people are saying I'm ignorant. I can't accept it. What's the good thing that happened? That Maduro's out of power? I agree. I think it's a good thing that Maduro's out of power. So we agree on that, right? I'm glad Maduro's out of power. What's the other good thing I'm supposed to accept here? By the way, any of you are welcome to come up here. This is a good time to remind you. See that Venmo username? That's Jen's Discord username. It's not, you don't have to pay, but you can come up here and you can talk to me in real time. You want to correct anything I have to say? I don't think a lot of streamers give you an opportunity to have a voice. I'll give you an opportunity to have a voice. You can come up. I invite you guys to come up every single day. And we get one person show up like once a month. Most of you don't have the courage to come up and explain that. But what am I supposed to say is such a good thing? Maduro's out of power. Maduro offered to leave on his own. We didn't have to go in there and invade their country. We didn't have to put American lives at risk. Maduro said, I'll negotiate with you. I believe you were a registered Democrat till last election. You just went to the Republican side because you didn't understand what happened to Trump. So what is it that I don't, Greg, what is it? Venezuelan people are making $3 a month eating out of trash cans, getting killed by this Maduro. Agreed. I don't like Maduro. I'm glad Maduro's out of power. It's not about Maduro. No, none of us are complaining that Maduro's out of power. No. Oh, there we go, Tyler. I appreciate it. I'll explain it. For any of you who are coming here, I don't like dictators. I don't like authoritarians, and I think that they should be removed from power, preferably by their own people. But as we saw in Venezuela, Maduro had full control of his government or his military, and he also had like Colombian mercenaries that he hired to protect him as well. So I don't know that the Venezuelan people have the ability to overthrow Maduro by themselves. My problem is not that we got Maduro, and I said this yesterday, like if they had gone in and they had kidnapped Maduro and brought him back here, or whatever you want to call him, arrested Maduro and brought him back here, this wouldn't be so much of a story for me. I agree with you guys that say that there would be tons of Democrats who they would still focus on that story as if it was the biggest story in the world, that Trump did something that was likely unlawful. And by international law, you can't do that. But it wouldn't be, we're used to it in this country. It's what America does. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. But I certainly wouldn't have covered the whole show yesterday. Where I got really frustrated and annoyed is when Trump said, we're going to go take their oil. We get their oil now. We get to choose who the leader is now. We're running this country now. That's where I have a problem. And this is, I think, where the disagreement is. If you guys don't, it seems to me that every time I bring that up, you keep going back to Maduro, that this is about Maduro. It's not with me. I can't speak for anybody else. For me, it's not about Maduro. But every time I say that, you won't engage. None of you will engage with this discussion. Should we do regime change wars? Should we be allowed to go in and steal people's resources? I say no. And even if you say yes, then let's look at history. Does this ever work? This type of action has never done anything but drive us into debt and create more terrorist groups and create more instability. That's my problem. I'm going to show you videos coming out of Venezuela now where they're talking about like getting revenge on Americans for this. I've got a problem with this. My problem is not that Maduro is not in power. I'm glad that Maduro's not in power. I'm happy for the Venezuelans that they got rid of Maduro, and there's a lot of work to do in Venezuela that should be done by the Venezuelan people. They should be the ones that are choosing their government today. By the way, Trump just he's like, we're in control. We're gonna swear in the vice president, the same person that was with Maduro the whole time. It is 100% about resources. And if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm tired of you guys still, after 2 days, framing my argument as it's about Maduro. That shows a lack of understanding or integrity by you. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. But either you guys are all fucking stupid or you're being dishonest. Because you've heard me say now 20 times that I'm glad Maduro's gone. Maduro was obviously a dictator. He may well have been a narco terrorist. I think the information that we've been given showing he's a narco terrorist, some of it I know for sure isn't true. because the Trump administration is saying that it's not true. Some of it could be true, and I look forward to seeing the court case so we can see this all spelled out. Most of you have decided without a trial that he just is a narco-terrorist, and you're just believing Donald Trump. So I don't know what to tell you guys. You seem to be people who have an opinion that you will not change regardless of the information, and I think that shows when you keep bringing up the fact that it's about Maduro. So, all right, let's move on. I'm going to just jump into that. I want to show you this clip of Stephen Miller with Jake Tapper, kind of a
We're back and continuing
long interview, and I'm going to just get to the end. I think it's here.
Between, of course, what I can say to you publicly.
All right.
Obviously, we have to balance.
One of them is Maduro, that the president and the military were acting. If that's true,
obviously, that doesn't mean that President Trump is setting the bus fare schedule inside the country.
So
doesn't mean that President Trump is assigning the K-12 curriculum in the country.
The indictment that the president and the military were acting on from 2020 was of 6 people. 2 of them were seized on Saturday by our special operators. There are 4 other individuals indicted who remain in Venezuela. Is the U.S. demanding that they be turned over? One of them is Maduro's son. One of them is a former government official. One is a current government official. And one of them is the head of Tren de Aragua, as I'm sure you know. Are they going to be turned over if President Trump is, in fact, running Venezuela in the way you describe?
Well, I don't want to. Obviously, we have to balance here.
One thing, the question was, there are these 4 other people that were also indicted. For some reason, we didn't get them. Are we going to get these people? I just want to make sure that you understand what the question is. And let's see if Stephen Miller answers these questions. You should go back and watch this. It's 15 minutes long. The first half, it's literally just like Stephen Miller not answering questions. And I wanted to show the second half. It's more Stephen Miller not answering questions. But you see what happens when this guy's paid. And this guy's in the Situation Room. He has more evidence. He has more information than all of us, like me, everybody in the chat. He has the most amount of information. So this guy should be able to answer these questions. And I just want you, if you're honest, Hoodie, looking at you, Hoodie, if you're fucking honest, tell me if Stephen Miller is answering these questions. Or tell me if he knows the answers to these questions. Because I think that it's becoming increasingly clear that there wasn't really a plan here in Venezuela. And I think that's what happens when you have an incompetent administration full of people who have literally no experience. This is a hard thing to do. If you and I, if we picked 10 of us together and we went in and we started running this country with no experience, we would also fuck up all the time because this is incredibly complicated stuff.
Jake, which I think you more than most understand. We have to balance between, of course, what I can say to you publicly versus very close hold conversations that might be happening privately. And I know you understand and respect that. But I'll answer the question in this way. There might be individuals who are fugitives from American justice that could become part of a future conversation. But it's also true that for government leaders inside of Venezuela, as the president has said, right, we want an interim government that will respect the interests of the people of Venezuela, that wants a good, peaceful, secure future for Venezuela.
He asked about the 4 people that were indicted and what the plan is with those 4 people that were indicted. Still no answer.
So I would just say it this way. For those who may be indicted, the best choice they can possibly make is to be part of a constructive decision-making process for the future of Venezuela. The best decision they can make is to cooperate fully and completely with the United States to be part of building this brighter future for Venezuela during this interim period.
Was that an answer, Hoodie? Who got mad at me for giving Hoodie I think Hoodie's name used to be Hoodie instead of Hoodlum. I don't know. I've always only known him as Hoodie. I don't know. He answered it? He said, "What's your plan?" And he said, "The best thing they can do is work with us." No, I know he gave an answer. I know he said words, but it was a specific question. Like, what's the plan with those 4? Will they be indicted or will they be arrested? He didn't answer that question. He just said the best thing they can do is work with us. So the answer is, I don't know, right? Is that what we've all decided on? The answer was, I don't know. This is crazy. Oh, I don't even know why I fucking ask you guys questions. You are all so fucking bad faith. It drives me nuts. I'm trying so hard today to be nice to you and to engage with you. Of course, he didn't answer it. He gave an answer. But the question is, will they be arrested? Did he answer whether or not they would be arrested? He said, no, I think they should. The best thing they can do is work with us. So I don't know is the answer, right? I tried so hard.
On another important topic, the premier of Greenland and the premier of Denmark and other Danish officials are responding to a Twitter post from your wife, Katie Miller, herself a former Trump White House official, showing Greenland covered with an American flag, saying soon. After that was posted, President Trump repeated the claim that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons. The Danish prime minister responded to this in an interview earlier today, as reported by Bloomberg, quote, I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says that he wants Greenland, but I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War. Can you rule out?
Let's talk about World War II. I didn't know. Yes, Jennifer, the answer I wanted was to him specifically answer the question of will those people be arrested? He could have just said, I don't know, but he didn't say that. But let's talk about this. At the end of World War I, everybody thought that was it. But then what happened is Germany said all these alliances that we created at the end of World War I, they're not fair. They're not fair alliances because we want to expand. We think that we should get access to these other places because it's important for us to be a world power because Germany wanted to be a world power. So Germany broke all of these alliances that we had after World War I, and then we wound up in World War II. And then after World War II, we created alliances. And after the Cold War, we created alliances. And these alliances, whatever you want to say about them, whatever you want to say about NATO, and kudos to the Trump administration for getting all these NATO countries to pay their share of GDP. Some were already paying it, some weren't. Kudos to the Trump administration. That was a good thing. That made everybody feel like they were on equal ground. They didn't. The other NATO countries that were paying more, they didn't seem to be that upset about it. They seemed to say, all right, fine, fair enough. Yeah, maybe we're getting away with not paying our fair share, whatever. Kudos to the Trump administration for doing that. But now we're talking about breaking these alliances. And why are we talking about breaking these alliances? We're talking about breaking these alliances because the U.S. thinks we should just get land. We think that the U.S. thinks we should be able to expand. And it shouldn't be ironic to any of you that the guy publicly saying this is a Nazi. And I don't mean that like colloquially. I don't mean it as an insult. I mean Stephen Miller is a Nazi. He always has been. You can go find early clips of Stephen Miller as a self-avowed Nazi. Yes, America first. Thank you, Liberty Logic. I appreciate that. America first. He always says, I'm America first. You know what the slogan of the Nazi Party was? The German Nazi Party? Germany first. What was the slogan of the American Nazi Party? America first. Yes, they're literally using, hold on one second, Jen. They're literally using the same structure, the same ideology, and the same buzzwords. America first was the slogan of the American Nazi Party. Jen, I'm getting feedback. What's up?
Just chill with the N-word so many times for TikTok.
I don't care. They can ban me. I'm tired of them. They don't get shit from TikTok anyways. I feel like it's censoring it is making it softer. Thanks, Ryan, by the way, saying try using this, bro. For those people who just don't get it, appreciate that. Thanks, Sue, for saying from a reliable military source, Trump administration was afraid. And then and then from Wasn't Me said, check with Jen for the message. Jen, is there a message from Wasn't Me?
Yeah, I'm seeing the screenshot of it.
Okay, thank you.
While he's reading those, just want to remind everybody we do have a gift goal. It's in the top left-hand corner. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out the rest of that goal. This is our job. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 to noon-ish Pacific time. So if you guys could help us knock out that goal, we'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We do members only events. So if you're a paid member, wherever you're watching, you can join us for those. We've been doing that on Monday. And then that's it.
Thank you. DNC Warrior says, we're so much better off because of you. Thank you. Yeah, you said the same thing. Like somebody said, Stephen Miller's a Nazi. He's Jewish. Yeah, because you guys still think that like being a Nazi was about being anti-Semitic exclusively. It's not. In fact, that's not what the Nazi Party was founded on. That was part of it, but their goal was to be imperialist and to be authoritarian. And then their goal was also to say like these groups of people are actually the problem. So they othered groups of people. Stephen Miller has othered groups of people. He goes after Muslims. It's just you can be an authoritarian. You can be a Nazi and not necessarily be anti-Semitic. But you would also have to agree that Stephen Miller is very anti some Jewish people. He's anti progressive Jewish people. He's definitely racist. He's definitely a white supremacist. But yeah, I know that you guys see. Watch how quickly these Republican parties these Republican people freak the fuck out because we point out this, and they're going to be stuck on a label for the rest of the day, and they're not going to address any of this. But he's advocating doing exactly what Germany did. So if you think that it's unfair that I call him a Nazi, I'll change it for you guys. We'll say Stephen Miller's not a Nazi. He's a white supremacist that is using the Nazi playbook. How about that? Because there were American Nazis here. They called themselves the American Nazi Party, and they weren't advocating that we put Jewish people in America in concentration camps. So was the American Nazi Party, were they not Nazis? Why are they allowed to call themselves that if they didn't advocate for eliminating Jewish people? That was kind of the difference between the American Nazi Party and the German Nazi Party, was that thought that we were going to intern Jewish people in camps. He's more of the American version.
That the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, thank you, El Franz. If fascism is about telling one group that it's better than another, that's what's wrong. And now he's about to tell you why we're better than everybody else.
Let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now. So I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United States.
We should have Greenland. Now you'll notice the people like this too. Watch the chat. Watch the chat. As I'm talking about America not stealing other countries, the people who are upset being called fascists are calling me a traitor. I'm a traitor because I don't support imperialism. You are the traitors. You are the ones that are violating the Constitution. Yes, I would be considered, I'm not a traitor to MAGA. I want to be clear. I'm an enemy to MAGA. I don't like your ideology. I'm not a traitor because a traitor would mean at some point I was as dumb as you motherfuckers, that I was as sick as you motherfuckers. I was a Republican and I left when you guys embraced this. This is why I left the Republican Party, because you embraced this shit. So yeah, I'm your enemy. And just to point out, who were the enemies of the German Nazi Party? Chat, help these Republicans out. What was the reason that